happy you've joined me here on this video about breathing, and I hope that I'll see you in the following videos on different breathing techniques and how you can use the simple act of breathing, what we do all day, every day, from the time we're born to the time that we die, to strengthen your yoga practice, to find calmness in your everyday life, and to understand yourself a little bit better. To begin, I just want to address the reasons why pranayama and other breathing techniques are beneficial and why we practice them, as well as some of the common mistakes that people make. So first of all, there are probably hundreds of different breathing techniques out there, not just pranayama in the yoga world, but other breathing methods that we see outside of yoga. And as you can imagine, they all have their different benefits and different reasons why we might want to use them. Try not to feel overwhelmed by that. At the end of the day, it's basically just breathing with a little bit of mindful awareness of how you breathe. As I mentioned, you're breathing all the time. You're breathing right now. But what we tend to do is we go through our lives thinking about anything else other than our breath. And so a breathing practice can be, at the very basic level, merely paying attention to how you breathe. And this is why breathing often goes hand in hand with meditation, because if we focus solely on our breath, how we inhale and how we exhale, then our mind is not distracted by any other thoughts or, what we've got going on in the future, what's happened in the past. And it can help bring us into the present moment. Furthermore, mindful breathing, being aware of how we breathe, helps us slow down our breathing a little bit. As we go through our lives, often we have a very short and shallow breath, and most of us in this modern world have a very stressful lifestyle where we're always kind of like go, 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 and that stimulates what's called the sympathetic nervous system, which is where we're like ready to act, ready to go. And we need balance, and so we need to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system where we're a little bit more relaxed, we're able to give our bodies a chance to digest, to repair. So in this video series, I'm going to cover some of the basic breathing techniques, and they are also my favorite ones, and also how to bring this mindful awareness of how we breathe into our asana practice, and finally, how they even help us with our handstands. So if you're anything like me and all you want to do is the cool arm balances and handstands in your asana yoga practice, and you're not really interested in something like pranayama, bear with me, trust me. If you know how to breathe properly while you're doing these, then it's going to get you towards those goals a whole lot faster, and you'll feel a lot calmer doing so. So, common mistakes that I see people making when it comes to their breathing practice. Number one is simply overthinking it. As I've mentioned, I don't want you to ever feel overwhelmed by all of the different breathing techniques that are out there, or wondering if you're doing it right or doing it wrong. Just think of it as being aware of how you breathe. That's all a breathing practice is. Just paying attention for once on this thing that you do all day, every day. The second thing is your posture. So as you go into this practice of being aware and mindful of how you breathe, it's important to hold yourself in a way that you can breathe nice and fully. So if you're slouching, if you're kind of like sitting in a chair leaning back up against something, or if you're sitting on the floor and maybe your hips are quite tight, some of these different postures can lead us into a kind of cramped position. So maybe you want to prop yourself up on something like I've done, or even sit in a chair. You can lean back as long as you keep a nice posture. So what that means is that your pelvis isn't tilted too far forwards or too far back. And often it's this tilting too far backwards whenever we're leaning back up against something. So So sit in a way that your sit bones are grounding down into the chair or the floor or whatever you're sitting on, and where you can feel an expansiveness through your chest. The third very common mistake that people make is they're very unaware of it, but they keep their belly muscles really tight. We go through our lives holding our gut in because society has taught us that we don't want to have a big belly, we don't want to have a big gut, and so we hold it all in. And we develop this habit of keeping our belly muscles taut, and therefore all of our breathing happens in the chest. So what I want you to do now is place your hands on your belly, have a little feel, and see if you can relax. So let it all hang out, show me your gut. Feel those belly muscles soften, and this might mean that you lose that upright posture as well, and that's fine. We want to feel a sense of ease. We're not trying to hold ourselves up like a robot, but rather find that balance between ease and effort. Let your belly hang out. And now what happens is as you breathe into your lungs, you're able to expand the diaphragm, one of your big breathing muscles that sits underneath your lungs. You're able to let that press downwards. So whenever yoga teachers or anybody else says breathe into your belly, you're still breathing into your lungs. You're not breathing into any other part of your body in terms of where the air actually goes. But you're allowing the diaphragm to move downwards. This is very difficult, if not impossible to do if the belly muscles are really tense and tight. So try that a few times, and don't worry if it takes a few times. Don't worry if you don't feel it straight away. Just try and think about the belly muscles being nice and soft, and then as you breathe in, as you inhale, allow that to push the belly outwards even more, because when we breathe air into our lungs, we want the lungs to expand outwards to the sides and also forwards and backwards. We want the lungs to expand downwards as well, and this is where we get that so-called belly breathing, or some people call it 360 breathing. So we're allowing the lungs to expand in all directions. Doesn't it feel good? Let it all hang out. Then when you exhale, once you've got a hang of that inhale, letting the belly muscles just expand outwards, you can use the exhale to gently, I think of it as like hugging and lifting. It's through the pelvic floor and through the abdominal muscles to help press the air back out the lungs. So that's pushing the diaphragm upwards as the lungs empty. So try and find a little rhythm here. As you inhale, breathe down into the belly, relaxing. And then as you exhale, gently press everything up and out. And gently is the key word here. So hopefully you're already feeling a little bit more relaxed and at ease in this breathing. And the final thing is breathing through your nose, not through the mouth. Now, I'm not going to say that breathing through the mouth is wrong. There is a time and a place for breathing through the mouth, especially if you're doing a really tough workout, lots of cardio, and you really need to just get that oxygen into your lungs. There's also lots and lots of breathing techniques that involve breathing just through the mouth. There is benefit to that. But whenever it comes to our yoga practice and a lot of these different breathing techniques where we want to use this as an opportunity to feel a sense of calmness, we need to breathe through the nose. And there's many more benefits of breathing through the nose. It helps filter the air, it cools the air, and also we get more nitric oxide. I won't go into all of that now, but if you are interested in finding out more about the benefits of breathing through your nose and getting that nitric oxide, which is very beneficial to our cells, then I have an article, a little blog on my Patreon account. There's a link in the description of this video for that if you're interested in checking that out. So finally, Sometimes people wonder, well, when should I do these breathing exercises? At what point in my yoga practice should I put pranayama? And remember that if we're thinking about pranayama or any other breathing technique as merely mindful awareness of how we breathe, then it makes sense you can do it anywhere at any time. There are, of course, different techniques that are more beneficial for different times of the day and different times of your yoga practice, and that's what I'm going to share with you in this video series. But basically, anytime you feel like it might benefit you, bring your awareness to your breath. It can also really help to close your eyes to remove any other further distractions. And just pay attention to how you're breathing. Find that inhale down into the belly, the nice tall posture, so that you're really inhaling fully and exhaling fully. And you're gonna get so many benefits, I promise you. I can't wait to see you in the next videos where we'll break down some of these traditional, common breathing techniques. Make sure to subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think.